I have the Skyline GTR on the lift. Let's check out the underbody. I think you'll be very excited, just as I am. We're going to start from the very front and work our way towards the back of the vehicle. When we say very front, let's actually take it literally. We're going to look at the bumper. Even though we checked out the paint, this vehicle has been refinished in Japan and they did a great job, and the bumper is no exception. Everything lines up. There are no cracks that were patched up in any way, and you can still see in there all the original hardware, even the air deflectors, all in place. We did remove the front engine splash pan just so that we have better view of what's happening behind the splash pan. Here is another air duct. Front suspension. A particular interest is what we call lower radiator cross member. And when the vehicle hits something, whether it's a minor down low or kind of like a full blast front end collision, which this car hasn't had, but you can certainly see signs of any type of repair work right there on this lower cross member. Everything here looks original. The frame rails look original, little brackets, extension. In fact, all the hardware looks like it hasn't been moved or touched. Here's the front of the engine, and do check out the full list of improvements that were made on this vehicle by the previous owner, and they include a lot of cool things, and I'm observing everything here. One of the best things I can comment is that all the work has been done professionally, and we're going to see a lot of evidence of that. So here is the engine oil pan, which also serves as a housing for the front differential. And the drivetrain is very, very dry. I'm looking, when we did the inspection, there was one minor wetness that after extended road test, and you can see it right here, there's a little seepage from this seal. We're actually going to replace it. We ordered a new seal. By the way, we haven't had any issues so far with a few parts we were needed. There are several websites that we used that actually has done very well. We have done very well with them. Checking out front suspension, for those of you that haven't seen this geometry, it's pretty cool. Not to mention it's extremely heavy duty. Even for European, if this was a European car, you'd expect that. On a Japanese car, to see this heavy duty design and implementation is really impressive. And it's all good. You can see a lot of original parts. We haven't seen any looseness in the front end. It's nice and tight. And again, all the work that was done prior was done nicely. I am looking at the caliper, 4-piston caliper right here with the crossover metal pipe. Oops, lost the screen. Here it is, crossover metal pipe. And then this pipe leads to the brake hose right there. And adjacent to the brake hose, there's another line that may at a first glance look like it is a brake hose, but it isn't. It's actually the ABS sensor, anti-locking brake system sensor. And then it has this heavy duty protective sleeve on top of that. And there's a spot right there, I'm going to show it to you, where that sleeve has surface cracks. If you end up buying this car and if you see that, don't think it's a brake hose. It isn't. And it really is not a big deal. It's just a protective sleeve over a well-protected wiring harness for the ABS sensor. Here's front steering rack in phenomenal condition. And again, I'll reiterate, none of the work that was ever done on this vehicle was done improperly. It's all done right. And minimal work, because the hardware, as I'm observing it, does not have any range marks on it, which is a good indication that most of it is original, which is a good thing. Here's the right side suspension. And again, nice original car. Yeah, you'll see a lot of metal lines leading towards the back. A lot more than you see on, I would say, conventional cars. We'll talk about those lines and why there are so many. The exhaust has been upgraded, as you can see, with this awesome brand. And you can see why they have this impeccable reputation, as the quality and workmanship of this exhaust system is exceptional. Nicely done, nice installation. And also the original exhaust, which I believe some pieces are in the trunk, and the harness for the original exhaust has been saved here. And there is a sensor, I believe that's the temperature sensor that was used on the original exhaust. We're going to spend a few minutes, well, a few more moments, I would say, on the underbody, which looks awesome. The pinch welds of the rocker panels in great condition. No signs of improper lifting, prior improper lifting. You can see it all looks good. Absolutely no signs of any rust, even the areas that are typical to see rust. This is all very, very good, very solid car. Yeah, and now these metal lines, as you can see, they lead to this massive valve. And then from here, they lead to the rear steering rack. Yes, this vehicle, for those of you that didn't know, not only this car is four-wheel drive, but it has a very advanced, high-tech, even by today's standard, four-wheel steering system. Here it is. And it's all in great condition, all original. Even the cotter pins on the tie rod ends appear to be original. Rear suspension, also nice and heavy duty. Hasn't been modified in any way, and no rust. Solid car. Wow. And we're making our way towards the very back. The same thing here. This car has all original parts on the rear body panel. No signs of accident in any way. We're gonna take a careful look at the right quarter panel. We suspected there was a minor, maybe accident there. We're gonna check that out. And left quarter panel looks 100% original. And as you can see right here, looks all really good and impressive. Yeah, and I guess that accident, what we saw, is really not a big deal because all the inner structure is intact. No issues here at all. Going to compare this seam to this one. So you can see the seam to the right of the exhaust hanger, and you can see how it looks, the rust spot welds. And on this side, it looks a little different, so maybe this is a little sign that there was some kind of a really minor collision that led to this repair. But again, all the parts original, nothing was replaced. Of course, I would spend a little bit of time and make some improvements here for rust preventive treatment. And this is the area where we identified, and I'll show it to you one more time, right here in this area we have some rust, and I bet you that is from that little bodywork repair that was probably done many years ago. Again, the paint looks beautiful, and if you haven't seen the beginning of this video segment, definitely check out full paint overview of this car. Here's another glance at the underbody, which is in very impressive condition. We're so lucky to have this car. And I was a passenger on the test drive, and it's super tight. Absolutely no unusual sounds. Suspension is tight, steering is awesome. I did drive it too, but on the video I was the passenger. When I drove the car, I enjoyed it immensely. The smoothness of the inline six-cylinder with the twin turbo, with updated twin turbos. This engine is just exceptionally enjoyable to drive. Speaking of the turbos, let's see what we have here and how much we can see. Yeah, you can see all the new lines properly laid out. And here's the one turbo, and here's the second turbo back there. Nicely done. All the proper, correct, and new hardware is used, and it just looks great. Everything is done 100% professional. And while we're here, we'll comment on the left side frame rail, which is also 100% original. All the hardware around it, 100% original. So we do have an original, practically unmodified vehicle, and at the time of this video, it is still available. So check out alphacars.com or give us a call at 978-263-9000.